Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SandStorm meetup. Today, I'm joined by Ben from RFOX. How you doing today, Ben?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I thank you very much for coming on. I do appreciate it. Hope everyone watching is having a great Wednesday. Usually like to start the show out with a little bit of introduction for anyone that's watching, and also for myself. Might not know what RFOX is or know a whole lot about the team. So I guess if you want to tell me a little bit about the team and a little bit about what RFOX is.
Yeah, so we're a team of over 100 people scattered across the globe in 15 different countries. RFOX itself is a metaverse builder. So what we do is we are building a series of tools that plug into a virtual reality world. And then what we do is we use each of those products and ventures that we set up as a showcase for what can be done with the tools that we provide. And then people can actually click into that ecosystem. So we build in the four fastest growing sectors of the internet economy. We've got a gaming platform that's being built. We've got games SDK coming out soon. We've also got a finance section, RFOX Finance. We've got NFT platform, which is end-to-end, very much like a Shopify. Allows you to create NFTs, list them on your own marketplace, and also to you can use multiple chains to do that, which is the really important part. So we'll have ETH and then WAX, layer 2s, EVMs. And then we plug into a metaverse space with VR, which focuses on retail and entertainment. And we've also got TV and media that plug in as well. So a pretty diverse team working on all of those different industry sectors that work their way into one VR entertainment and retail space.
Yeah, no, 100 people. That's one of the largest teams of people that we've had come on the show. Usually they're like smaller, like 10 or 15, but 100, that is a lot of people. That's impressive. So you guys aren't building your own metaverse. You are essentially building tools for metaverses that are already out there and metaverses to come.
No, we have our own, but ultimately it's very much that we are the guys that build the sort of the platform and then say to people, you can come in and build and add to and grow to that. So much more like a Roblox model than a meta model, but very much enabling and giving people the tools to create that creator economy.
Nice, nice. Yeah. And like you said, there's the entertainment side, which, you have the games and the media, and then you have the retail side with different shopping and different shops in the game. What are some of the different shops that you have like in your metaverse?
Yeah, so basically we have 100 shops that are for sale, which means that there's obviously a fair bit of scarcity, but those shops can be multi-purpose spaces that you can use to have a showroom and effectively your own marketplace on display there. But you can also have meetups. You can do, some people looking at doing signed autographs. We've started off announcing some of these brands that are coming in, but nothing like Sandbox at this particular point. We're very early in our build stage. We've only sold half of the land so far. But ultimately, the majority of people that have come in so far are Web3 businesses that are launching, using this space as a tool to build their audiences and communities. But we've also got blockchains like Icon. We've got CoinGecko. We've done some work for Reebok and Miss You in the past as well. But we've also got Void Cyber, which is a brand builder that's about to launch. And this will be the first real showcase of a company that actually launches brands building on top of the platform that we've got. So they are a living testimony or proof of a company that can utilize the tools that we provide to do most components of their business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you said that you guys, you still have land for sale. How long have you guys been, I guess, created? How long has RFOX been a thing, and how long have you guys been selling land?
Yeah, so 4 years we started ago. We've done two land sales for 2 quarters. So basically, how ours work is it's like a floating space station. It's got a middle area which is called Genesis, and then it's got 4 quarters, and each of those quarters is themed differently. So we've got an art quarter, a music quarter. We've also got a gaming quarter, and then a science and technology quarter. So far we've only done the sale for the art quarter and also the gaming quarter. We sort of released them in stages, and now we've gone from selling that shop space to actually starting to create our Sandbox world, or MVP, if you will, which showcases how these things tie together. And then what we do is, when we bring out TV and we bring out the media platform side of things, NFTs, what we do is we show in the Sandbox environment how we would integrate the TV in. So TV is about to drop now, and what we would do is we would showcase around the virtual environment how that can work through billboards and also publicly shared broadcast spaces. So as we drop our individual ventures, you'll see them being injected basically as they're rolled out into the metaverse space. So it's been 4 years of building, and now we've finally come to the point where the MVPs are just coming out right now. So obviously with a big international team building in multiple industry sectors, it's also been a challenge to work out how to tie those together in the most seamless possible way with underpinned architecture.
Nice. And what I do have a question. What does MVP stand for?
Minimum viable product. So think of it as your line of code version. Back in the old days, if you look back at the beginning of Facebook or the beginning of LinkedIn or whatever, you look back and you say, oh, that user interface is pretty average. Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn always says, if you don't look back on your first release and get embarrassed, then you were too late to get out to market. So on screen there, you can see what our MVP space looks like. And this is a great way for us to showcase the interaction of what's possible in the space. And we've got all sorts of cool stuff, like you can actually climb buildings, and people, we get a group of people in there and say, you can actually climb these buildings, and then you want to continue the conversation, and they're like ants. You can see them climbing up the buildings and jumping off. So there's still a lot of the social aspect, obviously, because we've had a very limited amount of people coming in, and we're allowing more people to come in as we upgrade and put more features and aspects to the environment. And now we're going to start a mini type of esports. So again, like little teams that you can run around and do events and try and win prizes. And then we will soon release avatars. The avatars will be based on each quarter, and they'll work as a governance token, meaning that they can vote for how the quarters develop. But we've gone for a bit of a different theme. As you can see there, what we're trying to do is make sure that when we open this to the public and release it properly, that there isn't vacant spaces, that the whole thing's built. We didn't want people sitting on land and saying, I hope it appreciates some value. What we do is we just give people tools to be able to go in and then beautify their spaces and upgrade their spaces as they go.
Yeah. So there's already, when someone buys a plot of land, there's already stuff on the land.
Yes. So the shop comes in 5 or so different templates or outside views, and then on the inside, we're starting with 5 customizable templates that you can change the colors, the textures, the styles, the layouts. But very shortly, we're going to click on the tools that allow people to get in there and completely re-engineer their space with the view to being able to have instances of their own, meaning spaces of their own.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's awesome, because I know in Sandbox, I mean, we saw Slaterade just putting up a billboard before the show even started, and like, I don't know how to do any of that. Like, if I owned land, it would just be a barren wasteland. I'd just be holding it, hopefully that it would go up in value. And, I like the idea of there not just being blank plots of land and people are actually building, and you guys are giving tools to help people build on those lands. So it's awesome.
Well, you're the actual reason that we're actually doing that. That's good that you use that as an example, because the analogy I give is, if you go into a shopping mall, you imagine walking past all these shops, and then you come past a vacant one and it's got a guy sitting on a plastic chair there, and you say, what do you sell? And he says, nothing, I'm just waiting for the land to go up in value. And we saw that happening, and we sort of thought to ourselves, how do we sort of, and this is always the debate, as you know, the centralized versus decentralized, how do we start up the story? How do we start up the law? How do we give people a place to start, and then sort of turn that over to the community to let them vote on what happens next? And if we've got effectively the 4 quarters for us, the avatars are effectively different civilizations. And those civilizations will have the residents or those civilians will have voting rights on what comes next in the quarter, the transportation system, structures, concerts, events, So they'll be able to really have a say. So again, what we saw with a lot of decentralized projects that started from absolutely nothing from the ground up is that there was a lot of indecisiveness, and a lot of people were thinking, how do I just make money out of this and get out as quickly as I can? And
Mm-hmm.
what we thought is, how do we create a really level playing field to give everybody equal opportunities to start, and then let's let those people develop that from the point that we started it off as. So literally everything we do, including our products and services, are a showcase. We don't ever expect to be the biggest gaming company on our platform, or the biggest finance, or the biggest TV channel content creator. All we do is say, this is an example of what can be done. Come along and build and help make the ecosystem better. And as a result of that, our ecosystem grows.
Yeah. And how many, I can't remember if you said, but how many total, I guess, plots of land are there in the sale?
Yeah, so there's 100 in total, so 25 on sale each quarter. So very, very, very
Oh,
small and
very
limited
small.
number. So what we also wanted to do was make sure that the quarters had that feeling of that they were occupied and there was liveliness in those quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So we can incorporate non-player characters in there as well. But ultimately, the reason we've kept it at 100 is because, and we haven't really gone into the details of announcing how that would work yet, but ultimately the shop owners are going to be able to effectively start up their own little spaces. So they'll have, that's why it's limited in number as well for the scarcity. But this is a global vault. What we also do is plan to mirror this in countries. And the reason that's important is because when we release a country level, like for example, a Philippines vault, people will be able to then start to really muck around with the virtual in real life aspect. So I'll be able to go into the Philippine vault. I'll be able to go to a food court, order my food, and it will come to my doorstep. So it'll be delivered in real life. So I can be playing games, I can be shopping, I can be socializing, ordering food. And instead of just sitting on a couch waiting for 20 minutes, I can actually do quests, play games while I'm waiting for that food to arrive. And then we'd use a passport system so that you have the opportunity to go to these different vaults around the world and get rewards for doing so. But ultimately, the main difference would be I'd all have the same starting point, except for some slight color, cultural differences, and the languages, obviously, that things are written in. But then ultimately, again, we use the same path and let the people that are occupying that and building there decide how it develops and what the future looks like.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's cool. Do you guys have like an in-game currency? So say if someone was to purchase food through the game, would you have to buy through the native currency or just your guys' in-game currency?
Yeah, so that's a really good question as well. So at the moment, what we're doing is we don't want to be a payment provider. As you know, there's a lot of issues with the legalities and getting licenses for each of the countries. And
Yeah.
for example, we're based in Vietnam. You're not allowed to use anything other than the Vietnam dong to purchase anything. You cannot replace what you can buy with the dong with any other form of currency. So what we're looking at doing is saying you can pay in whatever you like. What we do is we take a 2% transaction fee on the underneath. We convert that into RFOX, and then we distribute a portion of that as rewards to our holders. So we really look at trying to make sure that we disperse that back. And then that way, any communities that are driven or built by people that are in the ecosystem, everything has a 2% transaction charge, which gets converted into RFOX and then distributed. But we had to be mindful if we truly want to go for adoption, we can't sort of force feed people to use a particular type of currency. We have to try and be as compliant as possible.
Yeah. So they can use RFOX if they want, but they can also use other things.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might say, I want to pay with, because our philosophy is we'll take whatever's in your pocket, but you might say, well, I want to pay in Ethereum. And I, as a shop owner, might say, I want to be paid in Great British pounds. So there'd be a conversion. But what we'd do is we'd take a clip of the ticket. So effectively, we act like an Uber. So we're the connector of the driver and the passenger, so to speak. And for that connection, we're taking a percentage, a 2% transaction fee. What we do not do is take the whole payment and then decide how it's dispersed and how it goes. We're not the payment processor.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna say it's almost like to me it sounds like here in America you can get a Coinbase card and you know, even though there's places that don't take Bitcoin or Ethereum, like you can technically pay in that. It's just it converts your Ethereum into US dollars and then
Yeah,
you pay them.
exactly, exactly. And I believe in America it's called a Redditor model where you're basically not the payment processor, you're just sort of making the connection and then taking your percentage as a result of doing that on the way through. So we just thought it was a cleaner model, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that sort of say you should force people to use a particular type of currency or whatever it might be. But even here in Asia, or Southeast Asia, between 7 or 8 main countries, the laws are all very, very different. They're rapidly changing.
Mm-hmm.
Legislation hasn't been laid out. And what we don't want to do is get into a situation where we think to ourselves, we've painted ourselves into a corner. Now we can't operate in 4 of these countries. We want to worry about just saying this is a platform that's truly diverse. It's multi-chain. It's for all countries, and you can choose what form of payment you want to use.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I did want to talk about your guys' own marketplace. I know I was going through the website and I can't. Yeah, so you guys have your own marketplace where you guys sell uh just different NFTs on there. It's almost like OpenSea. Like I see there's an Adidas original listed. There's some artifact stuff. What
Yeah.
exactly am I looking at?
Yeah, so we just released this. So how it worked is that like literally today, and it's in its obviously limited release. So what happened was we decided a couple of years back when we started doing NFTs, we started to see then Dapper Labs with Top Shots and all the rest of it come out. And we're thinking, we've got a lot of brands coming to us and saying, how do we get into the Web 3.0 space? It's been a mandate for us. We have to get into metaverse space somehow. Can you help us develop a plan? Can you help us release NFTs? And we started thinking to ourselves, my God, we're going to end up spending all of our time distracting the team from building these products and working with the brands to launch their own NFT collection. So we said, let's do a Shopify for NFTs, but instead of having just one smart contract or 2 smart contracts, have a factory, let them load in their own images, use a headless CMS to build their own website. And again, you might say, why do you need that if you've got a OpenSea, for example? Big brands don't want to only be a drop-down box on a marketplace, right? They want to have their own
Mm-hmm.
place to advertise their brand, especially if they're premium. And then we turned around and said, hang on, look, what we're doing is we're pushing a whole lot of traffic to OpenSea if they launch on Ethereum or to Atomic Hub if they launch on Wax, for example. So we also need to be mindful of the fact that with the Vault coming out and clicking on that creator economy and people saying, all right, we're bringing out apartments and people want to design couches or paintings for those apartments, they need to be able to use our tools to do that and then have a marketplace to list that on. So we'll provide incentives for that. But again, if the contract is in Ethereum and the creators are creating in Ethereum and they're creating guns, for example, and people want to sell that on OpenSea, they can, and we can put a creator fee of say 3%, 5% for the creator, 3% for us, and 2.5% for OpenSea. And what we can also say is, or you can sell it through our marketplace and you get a greatly reduced rate. So that way we start to drive traffic ourselves. So it's not like we've set out to say we want to compete directly head to head against OpenSea and LooksRare, but what we do want to do is have a marketplace for our own ecosystem and economy. But then if that grows, then that's fantastic if the product market fits there. But the other interesting thing about this is it doesn't matter what chain your NFTs are on; they're all displayed in the same place.
Yeah. And are you able to buy these NFTs with RFOX, or do you have to buy
Yes.
with either Ethereum? Okay, so you can.
Yep. So we'd of course make RFOX the currency that we'd offer up front, but of course you can also buy with Ethereum, and we'll look at making other payment options for people as well.
Yeah. Nice. So, obviously we've been talking about RFOX Vault, the, metaverse marketplace, all that different stuff. You guys also have RFOX Games. If you want to talk a little bit about RFOX Games.
Yeah, so RFOX Games was the first venture that we launched. Actually, we started off with COGS, or Keys to Other Games. It stands for. It's an acronym for. We modelled it on Milk Caps, the very popular game back in the 90s in the schoolyard, and we basically just said we were working with Arclegger from H1Z1, and he was a co-founder of that gaming division. And we were just saying, what are the biggest 2 problems in the gaming space? And the biggest 2 problems in the gaming space were fraudulent transactions, of course, and people getting sucked into being, relieved of their money and assets. And the second thing was, if the designers of games decided to just turn off their servers, you lose all of the assets that you've bought and created. You really are at the mercy of the guys that are running it, and you don't own the assets. So we turned around and said, how do we create a NFT collection that can be used as items that are either tradable, playable, winnable across a multiple number of games? So the idea always was to have 2 to 3 games in total and an SDK, and then to say, look, we've given you the example of how this can work. Then we provide that SDK and that ecosystem for other games to come and plug into. And for example, we've been working with Kalama, for example, in this region. They do thousands of casual games, and they keep saying these people sort of get to a level where the games are popular, but the servers are pretty expensive to run, and they don't really have any monetization models. Mm-hmm. So the idea is to make it that people can come along, plug in, not have to worry about understanding or learning NFTs. Cogs would be able to be used within their ecosystem, within their games as well. So, and then of course we'll plug all of this into the vault so that you can play these games inside of the vault.
Nice. And I know you mentioned Arclagger from H1Z1. Do you guys still work with him?
Yep. Arclagger's been fantastic for us in the beginning, and came up with the idea for doing a Milk Caps type of rendition, and so that was really good. He was our first exposure to the gaming side of things, and we were his first exposure to the blockchain side of things. So it was a really good combination.
Nice. Yeah, I used to play H1Z1 back in the day, and it's funny that you mentioned that. I remember people buying skins in that game for thousands of dollars, and now you go on there and like there's nobody really playing the game, and there's people that bought skins for like $10,000-$20,000, and essentially like they can't really do anything else with those. They're stuck on there, and that's that.
That's what we really want to escape. And I think the thing is that if you've got a gaming platform, that's one thing, but what we're trying to do is make sure that we've got that gaming platform and ecosystem, but also that plugs into the vault. So what we're also doing with Cogs, for example, is with the upcoming release of our avatar system and having those as governance and voting rights, we're following something similar to an artifact or other models that you've seen, where those avatars will allow you to get future drops at no cost for hoverboards and different types of transport and all of those types of things. But what we've done is made sure that Cogs are part of that as well. So you can redeem your Cogs for avatars. And the other thing that we've got is a thing called Mint Lab, which allows, we've done it for Bored Ape so far, they can create derivatives. So we're organising a way for NFT projects to have a passive income by, or the holders to have a passive income by creating derivatives, but also they become game pieces that can be used in a number of games. And then we'll introduce very shortly crafting, which will allow people to combine different cogs, so guns and gems and characters and all the rest of it, for a recipe that would then lead to things that are available to do and use within the vault space. So that's the really fun part, because we've been 4 years in the burrows trying to build all of this, and we were a bit, maybe we're a bit mental trying to do it all multi-chain as well, and work out how all the aggregation of that works, and making sure it was all audited and safe. And we've had to build bridges and lots of different stuff, avatar tools. And then we sort of decided, okay, now that we can get these out in the MVP stage, now we start to do the fun stuff. Now we can work on the law, allow the community to come in. So it's been 4 years of sort of dropping little hints of what's coming and showing demonstrations, and now we're at that point where the fun layer, the wrapper, gets to go over the top, and we can start to have a bit of fun. So we're really looking forward to that.
Nice. And yeah, we were literally just talking about Cogs, and Slater8 had the video showing up on screen. For anyone out there in the stream, how can they play Cogs if they want to play Cogs?
Yeah, so basically there's the first game is Slam, which is a downloadable game. So you can actually get that on the App Store, and you can find all the information you want about that on our website. But effectively, it works much the same way as the Milk Caps schoolyard game works. So what you do is you go in there. You don't need to actually do anything. This is a free-to-play, play-to-earn game. So you can actually go in there and you can find a competitor. You effectively put all your cogs face down, smack them with a slammer, and then whatever turns flips over, that's what you actually get, and that's how it scores. And it's exactly the same as a schoolyard. What we're doing now is introducing tournaments and the opportunity to risk. And then the other games that we've got coming in, we've got another game dropping in the next 6 or 8 weeks, and that game will be allow people to do the more sort of stakes-based gaming. So that's really exciting. We've got a third game in the works as well, which is a similar type of thing to Beyblades. So we've got a few cool games that will also really convert well into the VR aspect as well. So these transition very easily into VR. And then in the gaming quarter in the Vault, we've got a stadium that's specially built for esports and for these games, and also the other games that come in and click into our ecosystem to be able to have esports tournaments.
Nice. And so you said it's only on Google Play right now, right? You can't
Yes.
You can't play it on iOS. Are there any plans for that?
iOS, we're still going through the process. I don't know if you guys have done much with iOS, but they're a finicky mob, and there's always some little rewrite that has to be done, or some sort of new way or new mechanism that has to be added. So we're running the gauntlet there, trying to get that pushed through as fast as we possibly can.
Nice. And what's the biggest benefit for, I guess, COG holders and players?
Yeah, so cogs, I guess the thing is that you can create tubes or complete sets, and those tubes can then be staked for RFOX rewards. But now that we've got the games developing and coming along, now you'll be able to play and risk and also earn in the tournaments as well. So that's one thing. Then the different games that we bring out have slightly different mechanisms for how you can win and trade and risk cogs in battle in the different games. But we're also, as I say, trying to make sure that cogs themselves are gamified to the point where they have a certain level of interest, whether they be redeemable for furniture items, avatar upgrades, avatars themselves, future items that get released, access to events, concert tickets. And as I say, crafting is going to be a big thing for us, because as we sort of build out the world, there will be other elements or aspects or areas that can be unlocked by people working in teams to craft these cogs together in specific ways.
Nice. And yeah, you mentioned staking, as we see on there, stake your cogs to earn rewards. I guess how much RFOX do you earn from staking one cog?
Yeah, so what you do is you actually complete sets, so tubes, and then the tubes have different rarities and therefore different levels. So you start off with like a common tube, and then you can have your uncommons, your rares, your ultra rares, and then you've got foils as well. So each of them have a different index, and we quite often announce that at the beginning of a 90-day staking window. We'll announce what the amount is in RFOX. We try and peg that generally to a US pool, US dollar equivalent pool, and then that'll fluctuate wildly throughout the collection. And it so happens that every time we've started off a staking pool, we've started off at a certain level, and then for some strange reason, there's always a market cycle move during the 90 days, and the timings have been pretty good for the people that have staked them. But until we've really got the tournaments activated, which are coming now, and then the second and third games, we've sort of just made it so that you collect the sets and stake the tubes. But we're really looking forward to introducing the utility of these, because there's quite a lot of pictures that you can see right there, like as far as the different variants that we have, which form a pretty cool lore that will lend itself nicely to crafting.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that I saw on the previous page, it was like have an ape, mint your cog. Like, so you can, if you own the IP to an NFT, you can mint it into a cog.
Yeah. So the Mint Lab's actually pretty cool, because we've done Bored Ape Yacht Club as you can mint 5 each month. They can be sold on the secondary market, and each of those go for around, they've averaged over the course of the last 6 months, 800 to 1,500 each. So that's been a pretty good return for the holders. But then they can be featured in the upcoming games as well, and they can also be redeemed for avatars. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is it doesn't have to just be for COGS. So the Mint Lab tool could effectively allow people to take Ethereum-based NFT and then produce any type of NFT on AVAX or on different ecosystems. So we're introducing that now. But the thing is, you don't have to create a straight derivative as well. We're talking to projects at the moment that are saying we've got an F1 Delta situation where the rights will run out to IP that we have. What do we do for the users, for example? So we can say, we can provide you with a tool and you can take two of the NFTs that you have and you can effectively breed those to produce another NFT, a new NFT as a result of those two. And that way you've got a new derivative that can take elements of that creates something new, that means the people that are holding those don't lose out. You can actually have some sort of follow-on for that. You can also, we can also partner with any NFT project to create any type of derivative that they like. So we could say it could be a new collection, it could be a breeding, could be crafting. So that was a really cool tool that we built out. And if you look at projects like 10 KTF, they've used a very similar type of system with Bugme-san, and they've said, you know, if you've got these little components and you can combine them to make shoes or backpacks. So Mint Lab was designed to do exactly that.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I did want to talk a little bit about your guys' roadmap over on the RFOX Vault. You guys are currently around the Vault MVP. You guys have already done the Vault MVP, like you said, right?
We've got the first iteration of that out, which you showed some footage of just before, but the second iteration, which is the one you showed the first bit of footage, that one's coming out. The internal build will be out late this month, and very early June we'll have the more polished version through. And then once people sort of see the avatars, we haven't started leaking those yet, but they're like getting close to AAA quality already. So what we do is we then iterate fast and upgrade the world and make sure that we get to that AAA quality as fast as we possibly can. So we've got an amazing team of internal designers and art people and game builders, as well as also the technical side of things. And they'll be moving very quickly to try and get us to that AAA quality as fast as we can.
Yeah, and that was going to be the next thing I was going to bring up is, you know, in Q3 you mentioned an avatar MVP. What exactly are the avatars? What can you do with them?
Yeah, so the avatars are basically androids, and those have different backgrounds and reasons for existence. They're from different civilizations. So there's a whole lore behind that we're about to release. They're all brought together around a light source, which is a blue light in the middle of the vault. And what happens basically is they are your physical representation. They'll give you different access, so elevated access to events, different rooms, so secret rooms, Easter egg type situations. But as I say, if you've got a Bored Ape and you bring the Bored Ape into our metaverse, that's fine. You can have that as your avatar. But if you've got one of our avatars, so we call them citizens, if you've got one of the RFOX citizens, you get voting rights on the development of that quarter. So you'll be able to, people will be able to put proposals up for, like I say, transportation systems or architectural changes, and people as a citizen will be able to vote, and only those citizens of those quarters will be able to vote. You don't have voting rights in any of the other quarters. So what we think is you'll get these 4 quarters will sort of develop factions and parochialism, and you'll see that the people of the quarters work together to try and outdo the other quarters and develop in different ways. So we're really keen, as I say, to get that ball rolling and then hand that over to let the builders come in and work out how that develops. Nice.
And is there a limit to how many avatars you guys are going to do?
Yeah, so there'll be 10,000 avatars. So they'll be divided up amongst the 4 quarters, and there'll be OG avatars. The OG avatars, there's only 1,300 of those. Shop owners get a certain amount for free, and so they get 6 avatars. So three OGs and 3 regular, and 6 apartments for free as a shop owner. So that's going to bode well leading into the next lot of sales. But ultimately, there's 1,300 at the top level for OGs. When we do the second round of sales, 5,000, so half of the 10,000 are reserved for COGS holders. So there's a redemption for your COGS. So at the moment, the arbitrage between what we've advertised as will be the sale price versus what you can buy the COGS to redeem for is quite big. So that'll close up once we start sort of spoiling what these avatars look like and how they work.
Nice. And yeah, just a random question from watching this video, I saw there was a Bored Ape statue.
Yeah.
So obviously, I guess people can build within their land, right? And are they able to sell the stuff that they build on your guys' marketplace?
Yeah, so what will happen is for when we turn the creator tools on, so people will be able to decorate in any way, shape, or form. So you won't only get people that build things for their shops or apartments, you'll also get people that build for other people's shops and apartments as well.
Yeah.
So the shops are the only place that are allowed to sell something. So with the apartments, you'll be allowed to do meetups and treat it as an office or gathering place to watch movies with your friends. We've got RFOX TV as well, as I say. So you could actually get together and watch movies and TV and all of those types of things, but you're not allowed to use those places for commercial purposes. You can't sell things from there. But people that are creators can design pianos or couches or different types of furnishings, and then they would be put up on our marketplace. And again, the same thing would happen. A transaction fee would be then distributed to token holders.
Nice. And I did want to ask about, I guess, expansion, because in the very beginning we talked about how, I guess, limited the shops and everything is. Do you guys ever plan on, I guess, adding more if the demand is there?
Oh, so we won't add more in the global vault, but we've got a few surprises coming up in relation to what you can use the shop space for. So technically that problem is solved. So the shop owners will be very happy with that. But ultimately, the whole value proposition for this is it is scarce. There is a finite amount, and what will happen is once we launch the local levels, that's where the numbers will change, because what we're trying to do is make sure that we're very focused on digital inclusion, and what we don't want is for small vendors and hawkers and people that want to sort of build food court, cloud kitchens and stuff like that. We don't want those guys to be priced out. So when we go into Indonesia and Vietnam and Philippines that have higher populations, there may well be a greater number of shops in those worlds. But for this global Genesis edition vault, it's capped. We've made a promise to the shop owners that we won't sort of reduce or water their holdings down.
Nice. I mean, this is like it's so interesting to me because, I've been in the crypto space for a while, and I don't really remember when like Decentraland came around, but or even Sandbox. So like just seeing the beginning stages of a metaverse forming is really interesting for me to see.
Yeah, I think for us as well, because we've been stuck with the code and the audits and the contracts and the pushing for deadlines and getting new iterations out. And so even for us, we've been, you imagine you got a couple of guys that didn't go out and do equity raise, didn't get massive VC funding, and went out and said, we're going to build this team that's going to take 100 people to build and take years to build. And what we said was, we're going to move to Vietnam. We're not Vietnamese. We're going to because it's one of the fastest growing regions in Southeast Asia. It's got GDP in line with China for 7 years in a row. The opportunities are immense. And we turned around and said, we're going to go there, build out companies in the 4 fastest growing sectors of the internet economy. Some we don't have experience in. We're going to use billion-dollar companies as a model that we can replicate for some of those businesses and the tools and the ideas. And then what we're going to do is put them into a metaverse virtual world. And you're talking 4 years ago when people are like not understanding what the hell you're talking about. You can't explain this to people. There's no references for this. You can't point people to it. So we had a terrible time trying to explain what it was that we're doing. And then Zuckerberg's come out late last year and sort of shown in visuals and articulated in a 20-minute sermon what a metaverse is and what it does, and suddenly now we don't have to explain it anymore. Um, so, there's advantages to sort of trying to predict where things will go and being a first mover, but there's also the disadvantages of not having reference points, and the biggest problem for us has been not being able to Google what comes next, because you're helping to define that.
Yeah. And what is this contest alert that we're seeing on screen here?
Yeah, so we do a lot of opportunities for people to win Oculus headsets, and then that also acts as your ticket to come and get on the early MVP access. So we do a number of these. They vary from task to task, but ultimately we also know that the adoption of virtual headsets is slow. The battery life is only a few hours. Some people for the first couple of times get a bit disoriented and dizzy when they come in. And so we're doing it through VR, but we're also offering a web app-based version as well. But what's really important, I think, is for people to walk in as many as possible for the first time in that VR environment, which is, if you go back to the true definition of a metaverse from Snow Crash back in the days, it talks about the fact that it has to be based on VR, interoperable. And what we tried to do is say, let's really try and stick to that as authentically as we possibly can, give people that experience. But knowing that it's going to take some time before every household has VR headsets, we also have to obviously be mindful to provide the paths to adoption. But we figure that going VR first was a bold move because, again, the technology is still developing, much the same blockchain technology as well. And we had to work out how to get payments, how to be able to process a crypto payment through a crypto wallet inside of a VR headset. Yeah. And we went to everywhere trying to find out who'd done it before and couldn't find any living examples of it. So we have to work out all of those problems for ourselves. But the good thing about going VR first as well is you do have a more limited audience. So we can really get people in and get very targeted feedback, build communities around that. And we don't have to worry about it exploding to 1 million users in the first 2 months and us going, oh crap, we weren't prepared for this. So that's a really, we think it's definitely been the right way to go. And what we've realized is that there's a lot of stuff that we can already start building in the early stages in VR. And it started making us think about what some of these possibilities are versus conventional building methods.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going to have to be like the next leap forward for VR and like to get them in more people's homes. I mean, I used to be a professional gamer. I don't even own a VR headset.
Yeah, no, I think like I say, the limited lifespan of the batteries, the disorientation for people when they first get in there. For me, I think it's got to be, we need more lightweight, more akin to glasses, and they need to have longer battery life, and we need to have further development in, like 8D or full audio experiences as well. So the ambience and the music and the backgrounds need to be very, very immersive. At the moment, what you've got is you've got a headset and you can hear the noises in the background and you can hear everything happening. But if someone clunks a dish in the background or whatever in your real world, you hear that very much. It's not like you're completely soundproofed or completely immersed. It's partial. It's only partial. So we've looked at how we can sort of also look ahead to how do we get involved in the hardware side of things? How do we get involved in the actual headsets or haptic suits and that type of stuff, so we can sort of own the full experience? And that's something that we're still sort of digging around with now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was one of the things. Like when I saw Zuckerberg and Facebook kind of switched their whole thing over to Meta, I was like, not really too hyped for them to be a metaverse, but more so like, hopefully they throw money at like developing the VR headset and helping improve that a lot. Because I mean, it's going to have to happen. Like you said, I can't stand wearing them just because of glasses. My friend has one and like, I can't wear it that long because I can't see that well in there because of my glasses.
Yeah, I think there's a long way to go, and we recognise that as well. I mean, crypto's got blockchain's got a long way to go, but the good thing about it for us is that if we've got people across 15 plus countries, it's very difficult for us to sort of, the days of all sitting in the same office together and working 9 to 5 on the same office hours and doesn't happen anymore. So for us to be able to have, this is good for us from a company perspective as well, because we can jump into the vault and have meetings and muck around and goof around and play with our own products. And I think it's really important from the aspect of just trying to have a little bit of, at least a feeling that we're in the same place at the same time and in the same room together. So that's going to get more and more lifelike and realistic as we progress and build and develop as well. So I think it's just we're in very early stages.
Yeah, no, I agree. Functionality wise, what are you planning to integrate for other companies to tap into the RFOX vault?
Yeah, so we want to just build, and we're also doing some hackathons on for building SDKs and the railways basically to get in there. We're producing some tools for the people that want to create that'll make it really easy. And I know that that's something that Sandbox has sort of been doing for some period of time as well. So we've got a few shortcuts so we can get tools out very fast. And this will allow people to be able to come and sort of click in and build. So if you do want to just create couches or trees or something like that, you can do that. But if you want to come in and build a full scale company as well, you can do that. So we've really sort of given people TV and then the NFT platform, so you can now start doing your own sort of streaming channel or your own channel, but on the same page that you've got your widgets and your TV, you can also offer membership passes as an NFT or NFT collections and social gifting and stuff like that. So what we do again is showcase what the tools can do in conjunction with each other, and then sort of say, if people come along and say, hey, I could do something way better than that, I could combine those two, or we've got a tool or something that we can actually click into that, we say, go for it. All we're trying to do is provide you enough of a demonstration that gets your imagination going and you turn around and think, okay, I'm in, but how do I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. And do you guys, I guess I'm just thinking about partnerships. I mean, I know you mentioned like esports and doing arenas and different things like that, and streaming TV. Do you guys currently have any partnerships with stuff like that?
Yeah, so we've got YGG. They're coming into the vault as well. So obviously they do a lot of work around education, the play to earn space. And now we're working with a partner now that we're just going through some workshops on how we do our partnership and arrangement together. But they're one of the leading esports companies in the region who are looking to expand their gaming offerings and getting into our space. So they're big on community building and games, and they want to get into what we do from the metaverse side and blockchain side. So together, it's a pretty good combination. So we're looking at doing a JV with them, which would just really accelerate our entry into esports and gaming. But again, we don't plan to ever be the biggest company ourselves. We want to basically just set the stage and then say, right, now let's make it really easy for other people to integrate and let's get going.
Yeah, and I know, like I said, the streaming and stuff, is that already something that you guys have like figured out?
Yep.
You
We're
can go in there and
launching.
watch a stream.
Yeah, we're launching TV very shortly, next couple of weeks, and that will then we'll start to showcase how that plugs into the vault and how we deal with the streaming aspect.
Wow. Yeah, because that's something that I know there's a lot of projects that are building on Sandbox that they're waiting for that. Like they're like, when I mean, even us, like being able to live stream our stream in our social hub, it's not something that's possible yet. So
yeah, so we've got that we're already testing and using that internally now. So that's something that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks. But you'll also be able to then take a moment or a clip of what you've actually just beamed out, and you can turn that into an NFT, and you can sell the rights to that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So look, the example we give, which is a horrible one, which is if someone, films 9/11 on their mobile phone and then puts it up on the marketplace, CNN or NBC can come along and say, hey, I need that clip for my evening news. What they do is they buy that as an NFT, which is basically just the proof of ownership, and it transfers the rights to that holder.
Yeah.
So you can then go into like a mint lab and create derivatives as many as you like. That would pave the way for, say, Snoop Dogg bringing out an album. One person could buy the rights to the album and then make as many copies as they want, or just keeping it for myself, and I'm going to play it at private parties and I own the album. So ultimately, again, we don't try and tell people what they should do. What we try and do is give a few examples of what can be done and then say, go for it, use your imagination, and away you go.
Yeah. No, yeah. It makes me think of Kanye West recently. Like the paparazzi stopped him, and there was like that clip of him talking about like how he should be making money from his photo. He's like, you know, oh,
Yeah,
you guys are making funny selling my photo to magazines and all these publications. He's like, I'm not getting anything from it. He's like, and he mentioned NFTs. So I mean, yeah,
exactly.
it's definitely something I think a lot of people don't think about.
No, 100%. I think it's we've definitely got all the tools that you need now. The only thing that we were lacking was one, the logistics and supply chain type of delivery for physical items, and the production of some of the physical items from an NFT. How do you take that? But we're slowly ticking those boxes off. We've got a few partnerships that will come out soon that help to take some of the items in the NFTs, turn them into physical items, and then deliver them to your doorstep. So we're getting there. We've still got a couple of small gaps that we could fill, but ultimately we will be end to end. You can take a picture, turn it into an NFT, put it on a marketplace, start up a channel, stream. You can then put those into game pieces and put them into games. You can then also take up a residency or occupy a space in the virtual world. We've got an avatar creation tool that allows you to none of this board ape in 2D, someone put it into 3D, then work out how to make it metaverse ready, avatar, it's automatic. And we can actually do it in reverse. You can create the avatar and then create the NFT that accompanies the avatar
Oh,
in
wow.
reverse. So we've sort of gone through the gamut of sort of like an IKEA. You might want to buy a couch, but you can walk in and you can see everything that we do from end to end. You can join at any stage of the journey. You can upgrade your couch, so to speak, or you can furnish your whole house. It's up to you how you do that.
Awesome. Awesome. And we are coming up to being towards the end of the show. I did want to ask, you know, what can we expect from the RFOX Vault by the end of 2022?
Yeah, so we'll have the MVPs for all of the pieces that click in together. Our biggest piece will be the e-commerce streaming side of things, and so we've got a really good idea on how to incorporate that because I know a lot of companies are trying to solve that problem, how you get it into VR and metaverse. We think we've cracked that now, so we'll have all of the MVPs for all of the things that we're doing out, and then we'll see the iterations as we get moved closer towards AAA quality. And we'll also have all of the tools out for the creators to click in. So what I expect is to see at least 15, 20 relatively successful companies that have launched. But ultimately, we think that we'll also end up becoming a bit of an acquisition target in the sense that companies that launch and take up a shop residency and build a business and a community and a brand, as we know with Artifact and Nike and many similar stories that are emerging right now, these Web 2.0 companies are looking to sort of snap up these companies that know how to build communities and have the tools very early. So we want to help these companies to sort of position themselves as acquisition targets as well. So I think that the short answer is we'll have all the MVPs out, the whole ecosystem functioning, and other people building on it by the end of 2022.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I will for sure be definitely, I'll be checking it out for sure. And I really do appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you feel like, we didn't mention that you would like to talk about?
No, I think thank you very much for having us on. Really appreciate it and respect and love what you guys are doing, and really look forward to further keeping tabs on what you guys are doing as well. And I'm sure our metaverse paths will cross.
Yeah, no, I for sure would love. I mean, I'm not the one that handles any of this, but would love to have you back on. Maybe uh, end of 2022 or beginning of
Yeah, for
2023
sure.
to see where things are.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you to everyone watching in the chat. Make sure you guys check out RFOX in Discord and on Twitter. Also check out the SandStorm Discord and Twitter as well, and follow the live stream as we will be live again tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock UTC time. And I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.